Class is in session, but today's lesson is a total bloodbath. We are breaking down Starfleet Academy Episode 7, Let's Away, and things just got incredibly dark. From the reveals of Tarima's traumatic past to the realization that the Miyazaki rescue drill was actually a Fury-led ambush, this episode threw the needs of the many right out the airlock. The ending left us with a haunting question. Did Chancellor Nala just trade the lives of an entire crew while sacrificing her son? And who are the real villains? The Furies or the system that created them? Grab your pads and let's dive deep, baby, into the breakdown. Let's engage.
Oh, chat.
Hell yeah, today's title. You want to break that down for us?
Come, let's away. I purposely did not do any research to try to see, okay, is my thinking correct or is it not? I'm going to be 100% authentic and only give my opinion about what I think this title means to me after watching this amazing episode. Come, let's away just brings me to their Latin phrase, ad astra per aspera, to the stars through the hardships. That is what I got from this title, Come Let's Away, because my God, by the end of it, there were a lot of hardships to overcome. So come let's away. We still got to keep moving forward, even after everything went straight to hell.
Okay. All right. I'm here with it. I ain't gonna lie, I had to look that one up.
You looked up the title?
I did.
Look, I'm okay. If I'm completely off base, I'm fine with it. But it's just the meaning that it had for me after watching this episode. This was a very emotional episode. It really was. And probably one of the best ones of the season.
Okay. I really enjoyed it. That's high praise from you. That's high praise. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. So Tarima reveals a traumatic past involving her abilities and her father. How does this change your perspective on her character? And do you think Caleb was right to be upset about her going into his head earlier in the episode?
Okay. To be fair, I can take Tarima or leave her as a character. At times, I'm not gonna lie. I hate to Corey this out, but like seriously, I love the idea of her character, right? And it's not that the acting is bad, because it is not. I don't know what it is that's just mildly off-putting. So I'm gonna just premise it with that first. Before I say I don't think very much when it comes to Tarima. And I know that's bad. But to be fair, I'm intrigued by the idea of the Betazoids. I'll say that. You know, sitting here cracking up, and I'm so serious. Not being empathetic to that degree. That I could literally take off my father's eye. That's strong. So it made me empathize with her just a bit, but again, the character is just I don't know. It's something that's just not connecting with me. But moving on to a more hey Sergio, to a more palatable topic. Caleb, I understood completely his frustration with her going into his head. I know she didn't do it purposely, but I understood. I feel like his reaction was an authentic one, as it should be. Now, once he's had the time to process it and get through it, okay, understandable. But I feel like his reaction was valid.
So I was laughing because I think the very first time that I saw her, I was just like, there's something about her that's just not vibing for me. And I held it in because I didn't want to be that one, because I'm always the one to be like, I don't like her.
I don't know what it is, but it's something. I don't know. Maybe it's a space between her eyes. I don't know. But again, acting is not bad. It's not that. It's just something that's a little off. I don't know. But again, love the ideas of the betazoids and the empaths and all of that. Yeah.
But as it relates to Caleb, I'm there with you. I did think I don't know. I guess it's because for me, while I understand his trauma, I don't understand how deep his trauma is to have reacted in the way that he reacted. And the reason I say that is because she is a betazoid, and by this time they had lived and they had seen and they had been around betazoids for a very long time. So her ability to, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, dig into his head and pull that out. It shouldn't have been a surprise. I understand him being freaked out about it, but it shouldn't have been a surprise in my mind for him to have reacted in the way that he did. Again, not understanding how deep his trauma is. So I'm saying all of that, and I understand, but then I don't.
I guess for me, it's like it'd be one thing if it was just one moment in his childhood that wasn't the moment in his childhood trauma that pretty much solidified kind of how he's wired now. And so I guess in that instance, I understand. I wouldn't want anybody, even if I know, like, okay, you're preemptive, whatever it may be, that's your psychic ability, and I've been around you and we cool, going into my most traumatic childhood experience, like just me as of today, my most traumatic childhood experience, and then me knowing that you saw it, I don't know that I will be okay with it at all.
Valid. All right, so still playing off of character dynamics, Bruce Braca taunts Chancellor Nala about the trauma loop of being a Lanthanite who lives forever. Does this explain Nala's rigid adherence to duty over personal connection?
Oh. First of all, I was not entirely sure when they were going to bring Noose back and the way that they did. And they got his name is Noose for a reason, okay? Even though it's spelled differently. But
said Bruce.
That's okay. Close enough. First of all, he ate Nala up. Let's start there. I felt bad. I felt really bad for her because he put a business right in her face. So it does it makes you look at Nala a bit different. Because I don't know that I caught it before with this whole choosing the Federation over her child thing. Ask your original question again, because I'm kind of getting caught up in the emotion of what transpired.
So the fact that Lanthanites live for such long years, she's not a full Lanthanite, she's half Lanthanite, but she lives for hundreds of years. And that means that she's able to see humanity, go from one level of existence to another, like she's living, these long lives. Does that explain Nala's rigid adherence to duty over personal connection?
So the short answer is I'm gonna say yes, and it may make her seem like a bit of a jerk, but yes, because I couldn't imagine being around for eons. You see a lot, and so that'll take it right back to Spock's quote. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. And so, in that essence, I do understand her adherence to duty over a personal relationship. Now, many of us would not have been able to do that. But again, her very existence, like you said, being a Lathanite, you're around for a very long time. So you're able to put things into a different perspective. So I guess that could be a blessing and a burden. And, New said as much to her.
So for me, this is what I got out of it. It makes it difficult for her to form connections because she knows in the end they're going to die, and she's going to feel it, and she's guarding her heart by not having to feel it as much. She's going to feel it, but she's not going to feel it as much. And so that in that sense, especially if she's interacting with other species that don't live as long as lanthanites live, she that's a reality that she has to face. And so sticking to duty makes it much more methodical in how she deals with things.
That's fair.
All right. Uh, did you notice the comic books within this particular episode?
So, I got the comic book reference, and then at the end, with the Vulcan, you know, as they were saying goodbye to him. So I caught the Deep Space Nine reference, um, in here, and like I said, at the very end, the comic book being laid on top of the chest of the guy.
Well, there was like an exchange of conversation. One person called it propaganda, another person called it inspiration. Which side of the branding do you agree with?
I'm gonna go with inspiration. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
inspiration because we oftentimes look to the past for inspiration. Those that have, even if they haven't gone to the extent that we have, just kind of paving the way for us to kind of give us that motivation and extra nudge. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. All right. So kind of done with character development and all that other good stuff. Let's go to the beginning of the episode where it begins as a joint training exercise between the War College and the Academy. At what exact moment did you realize the simulation had turned into a real life crisis?
Oh, okay. Um, I want to say it was Genesis. And I love the fact, by the way, that they had the students on the bridge, and since they're doing the simulation like in real life thing, when she realized, hey, I don't know the exact lingo she used, but it was at that moment when Genesis picked it out, like, hey, something is coming in, this doesn't quite look right. And as a novice, as a student, first of all, kudos to you. You're there for a reason, obviously, but to be able to pick up on that, it was that moment when I'm like, oh my God, this is not a drill. And so, that sense of urgency that came after that, yeah, I was like, okay, what is about to happen here?
And for me, just to kind of, because that was the moment for me as well. What it spoke to was, dang, this girl is good.
Yeah.
Like, she's really good. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's move. So we learned that the Furies are human alien hybrids who live in constant sphincter puckering pain. So they're like always in pain.
Right.
Does their physical suffering make them more sympathetic villains or just more dangerous?
More dangerous. More dangerous. And especially past this prologue. I can't remember where I got that from, but it's a quote from somebody. But anyway, so if in the past what they have done, when they're in their negotiations, so to speak, in hostage situations, even after their demands are met, they still turn around and kill the hostages. Okay. So it doesn't matter to you how much pain you're in. You're not at all sympathetic, so no, I don't think their pain and suffering makes them more sympathetic. With Noose, you kind of never know what bag of tricks he's coming with, but I think that much, whenever he said it, was 100% accurate. The only relief that they get is to put their pain off on others.
By eating humans. All right. So the solution to the Fury threat involved, speaking of Noose, involved their sensitivity to high tonic frequencies. Was this a clever use of science in the show, or did you feel like it was a convenient plot device?
I think it was a clever use of science, and a great way to weave in some importance for Tarima. So I guess in essence, maybe a little bit of both. But I wasn't mad at it. I feel like it worked. So yeah, I feel like it was some good science.
Yeah, I felt the same way as well. I didn't see it like, oh, they just happen to do, or they just happen to have, or they just happen to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't one of those. It was kind of like, oh, okay, this makes sense. It was one of those moments for me.
I'll
All
allow
right.
it. I'll allow it.
Yeah. All right. So the guy, the Vulcan, he was attempting to calm Mir down. And he quoted a famous Vulcan proverb during the crisis. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. How did this episode subvert that theme, especially considering the ending where everyone else died, so the Chancellor could get her few kids back?
Whew. So first of all, why the Vulcan? The irony, right? The
Mm-hmm.
irony that the Vulcan is one of the ones that perished. I did not appreciate that. Let me say that. But I do also feel like that was good writing. I do feel like it was good writing. I was hurt. I was hurt, but I feel like it was good writing. Um, I 100% feel like this was kind of juxtaposed. Um, well, not really, because they did get rid of the problem. It was neutralized in essence. Um, but I don't. I guess I'm not as upset with Nala. I guess in the end, this was her call, but this wasn't her idea
Mm-hmm.
to bring in Noose
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So it wasn't 100% on her. Um, I I would not want to be in her position to make that kind of call, but I guess she kind of gets a little bit of an out because she didn't arrive at the decision on her own. She would have never opted to just bring him in because she kind of knows what comes along with that territory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know that we got an actual body count of people that perished that day. And so really, was it the many that perished or was it the few? And so that's kind of like one of the few holes haha, that weren't really explained in this episode for me. So I guess I'm kind of going back and forth because I'm kind of processing it in my head now because I realized, okay, we saw the Vulcan, we saw the la, 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 la. Not the professor, not a professor. Um well, I guess we can call him professor that went along the Miyazaki as part of the training course that
Oh,
gave
yeah.
himself up to save the kids.
Yeah, the guy from the
So
War College.
yes. And
Mm-hmm.
so in essence, again, that's going into the quote because he sacrificed himself so the other kids, so the kids would have a chance. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know that it completely went against him because I don't know the body count versus how many were saved.
All right. So Captain Nala, as you said earlier, is forced to negotiate with Noose Braka.
Mhm.
Was Nala too desperate, given everything that you just said, or was there truly no other choice given the window provided by the Furies?
I honestly don't think there was that much of a choice, especially with that that type of brutal species, right? You already know, okay, it's still a gamble if the needs are met or whatever, that they could still kill everybody. So, what was it, like a 5-hour window or
Mm-hmm.
something like that? And
Mm-hmm.
in essence,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a ton of time. And so I think she was, or they were given an impossible set of circumstances. And so I feel like they just kind of did the best that they could. I mean,
Okay. So using the Miyazaki's experimental drive to drop the jamming field was a high risk move. Given the ship's history of mechanical failure, was this a brilliant tactical maneuver or reckless endangerment of the cadets?
again, impossible set of circumstances. It was reckless, but more on the side of a Hail Mary. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
else can you do?
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole situation is reckless. It's not like, what else can you come up with on the fly? Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me back up. Are we talking about the training simulation altogether, or once they were in imminent danger? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, never mind. Because I was about to say, maybe they shouldn't have just been doing this training at all on the Miyazaki and really going nowhere near mechanical failure. Is it even safe for training?
Well, they said earlier that many scans. They've been in the area, all that other good stuff. So they felt comfortable enough. Sending the cadets to that particular area. All right, so it turns out that the Furies and the Venari Raal were working together the whole time. Did you see the betrayal coming, or were you as blindsided as the Athena crew?
I did not foresee the plot twist of them working together, simply because they sought Noose out. Mm-hmm. And so perhaps Noose is way more intelligent than people give him for, particularly Nala. Okay, all right. So I didn't.
No, honestly, I think she knows just how smart he is. You remember she called him a sociopath. So typically, sociopaths are pretty intelligent. So she knows he's intelligent. She just didn't know what trick he would have, up his sleeve.
And so it's much like something doesn't feel right. Like she knew something was off. I did not see the two of them working together though. Like I said, simply because they sought him out versus him coming and offering his support conveniently.
Your boy is playing chess. He ain't playing checkers. They better grab a queen. All right. With the Sargosa ransacked and the Federation supply lines compromised, the episode ends on a dark note. How do you think the bureaucratic chlamydia will affect the Academy's reputation in the next episode?
They're gonna need some treatment. They're gonna need some aggressive treatment to counteract the bureaucratic chlamydia. Okay. I don't think one dose is gonna do it. It's gonna have to be something really aggressive and ongoing.
Aggressive and ongoing.
Yeah. Y'all got a lot going on, Starfleet. This is, now we endangering kids. These bargaining chips just not working. Got to make these hard phone calls, and then, just the mental state of these children after the fact. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think the one or two pills is gonna do it. I don't think so.
I got you. Mayfair to 10. How did you rate this particular episode?
This episode was a 9.5 for me.
What?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Do tell.
So, okay. Whew. All right. So the science, the threats of danger, the visual effects, the acting, the ability to make me literally feel emotionally connected. So first of all, obviously most of what is put in front of us is the Starfleet Academy cadets. We see the War College, they come in, but we have more of a connection with the Starfleet Academy cadets. But whenever the Vulcan was killed, I genuinely felt something. I felt horrible. I was upset. I didn't like it, but I also felt like this is good television. And so there was that. I emotionally felt something. And I didn't fall asleep on the episode. I did not. I absolutely did not fall asleep on the episode. They gave the boring Betazoid a lot more relevance for me, other than her just being able to feel and sleeping with everybody's man, and I do mean Amir. So there's that. I liked there were some really good monologues and dialogues in this episode. And so particularly as much as everybody's skin crawls when they see Newt. He's just greasy and just diabolical, and you just want to just, ugh. Anyway, he had some of the best monologues in this episode, and I enjoyed him turning his villain up to 11 in this episode. And so for me, other than that tiny little piece, and there are probably just maybe a few more just itty bitty microscopic things of not knowing what the total body count was of people that perished in this episode, because I can only count 2 if I'm thinking about it. This was a great episode. This was, I think, for me, the best episode of the season so far, or top 2, top 3. But for right now, it's first place for me.
Okay,
it's first place as a neophyte, tricky. This was Star Trek.
That's fair. That's very fair. So for me, I gave it a 9. I gave it a 9 for all the reasons that that you gave. I didn't necessarily think that anything was wrong about it. I do. So it had some character development, but it was light on the character development. I think what I wanted to see was all of these kids come with certain gifts, right? Like, they're good at this, they're good at that, they're good at this, they're good at that. With the exception of Genesis, we didn't really see any of those gifts bear themselves out, other than mere fighting. We've always known that he was a fighter. But what about Jaden? He's supposed to be in Starfleet to be a medic, to be a doctor. But when his boyfriend, yeah, he does nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to see these people, at least attempt to do what they're there to do. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so that's why I gave it a 9. And that's not to discount this particular episode, because I love the episode. I really did. But I've been yearning for that all season long. Outside of episode 1/2, I've not seen that since. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. That is a fair assessment. And so that'll probably go into the micro things for me, that were kind of lacking. Jaden, I'm sorry, Jaden, because you got to split it up. He was kind of muted in this episode. But to be fair, like you mentioned, the gifts of all of them that are there were kind of an afterthought, or if a thought at all. So that's fair. I agree.
All right. Well, thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media. Until next time, which is going to be in maybe about 10 minutes. Live long and prosper, my loves. I need to find it, but...